So now that you know how to create and import your project into an IDE, let's look at something else. Let's look at our demos. libGDX comes with a couple of pre-baked, pre-packaged demos that you can explore and get inspired by, how to organize your code or how to not organize your code, depending on your point of view. To get to those demos, just go to the official site and click on documentation. And at the bottom of this page, you see a section on demos where we list all the currently available demos. Now, you can just treat them like your own libGDX project, so you can just check them out and then import them into your preferred IDE as you saw in the other videos. So make sure your IDE is set up correctly and then just proceed to whatever demo interests you. In this video, we're going to look at the Invaders demo. All of the demos have their own GitHub repository, which show you all the source, so you can browse it there, show you a little screenshot. The description of the game lets you try them in the browser, or you can get the desktop jar, or you can get an Android APK. For iOS, we can of course not provide you anything because you need a provisioning profile and all of that stuff, how to run the project. You can do this for all of the different demos. In this video, we're going to look at GDX Invaders, which is a 3D Space Invaders clone. So you got all the source file here, you got the screenshot here, you can run it in your browser on the desktop. So let's just quickly download it for a desktop. And while it downloads, let's walk you through the rest of the site. So how do we get this? We can look at it on GitHub, which is nice, but we also want to have it locally and run the code in an IDE and inspect it and modify the code, which helps us learn stuff. So you can either clone it via Git using this URL, or you can actually just download a zip file, clicking on this little button here. We're going to use Git in this case, but before we do that, we'll just open it up here. There's our game running on the desktop. Yay, pew, 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 pew. Let's open up the terminal, because that's how I like working with Git. Don't ask me why. And we go to the desktop, and now we can just say git clone, and the address I copied from here. I already cloned the repository because it takes a little bit. So the repository itself, the repository itself looks like this. It has a core project where all the code is. It has an Android project, which we use to launch an Android desktop project, HTML, and iOS project. This is exactly the same as you would get if you created your own libGDX project, so there's no big surprises. The assets are located in Android assets under a subdirectory called data. So if we want to look at the data and all the original files, we can do it as well. And Nate is bugging me again. Tis. Silly Nate. Let's get rid of Nate. Quit. Okay, so let's see how we can get it into an IDE. The process is exactly the same as for doing it for your own projects. In this video, we're just going to do it in Eclipse, so let me open up Eclipse. I prepared an empty workspace for this opportunity. Come on, open up. Okay, and importing it just works with like it does with your own projects. So you just go to File, Import, select Cradle project, then you navigate to your copy of the demo and click Build Model, which can take a while because it resolves dependencies and we download stuff and so on and so forth. Make sure all of that is checked and click Finish. Now we have to wait again for a little bit because it converts it into Eclipse project files and blah blah, and then eventually imports it and shows it in the Package Explorer. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so now you can explore the project in your... Oh, come on, don't do the Git stuff. Don't. Yeah, that's running in the background. We don't care. So now you can check out the source code within your IDE, play around with it. You may want to use hierarchical package representation. And there you can see all of the code that makes up the game. In this case, we have a couple of screens, like the main menu, and the actual game screen, game over, game loop, and blah blah. We have kind of a model view controller kind of setup where we have for each object in our game a separate class, which is the model, and then you have the simulation, which is basically the controller, which does all the things, and then we have a renderer, which just takes the simulation, so the model, and renders it with our 3D API. As I said, you can just do what I showed you in this video, and then figure out how all of this works code-wise. So have fun and enjoy.